Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it, like we were evolved to do. Guys, I may not be an expert cook, I'm definitely not a nutritionist or not into any of that stuff. I just know about the history of food, but one thing I know about even more than that is about eating good food, and a lot of it on a very low budget. I have been very, very poor, but always tried to keep my size up for sports and things like that. So today we are making my favorite cheap seafood dish, and I guarantee you have never seen a recipe like this before. It is delicious and nutritious, and you can make a lot of it for very cheap. This is maybe the cheapest, most nutritious seafood dish you can possibly make, and it's a salmon and shrimp stew. So first of all, chopping up the potatoes. The potatoes are the things that go in there first. Of course, being Scandinavian, that is a main part of our diet. But potatoes are actually not native to Europe at all. Potatoes are from South America, but they have been a big part of the European diet for many hundreds of years now. Those go in the pot, then we peel the carrots. Peel the carrots and chop the carrots, those go in too. Again, these are super cheap, just like potatoes. You don't need a whole lot of them, and these are native to the north of Europe. And both of these, by the way, potatoes and carrots, are in season right about this time of year in the fall. Next, you go just a little bit of water in the pot and put it on to boil. Then in goes the salmon. I'm using the frozen one, guys. If you're rich, go ahead and use the fresh salmon, the fresh wild-caught salmon. I am not, so I'm using the farm-raised frozen salmon. So that is gonna go in right away, pretty much after that. Super simple. Then we're going to let that boil, but put in just a little bit of salt first, because we're putting in another very special ingredient that is going to give it most of its flavor. Stir it up a little bit, let it simmer, let it boil for a while. Next, this is the secret ingredient. We are putting in the Béarnaise sauce, okay? Just a little packet of this goes a hell of a long way. It gives it a whole ton of flavor, a whole ton of flavor to it, just a whole ton of life, and it makes it super different. It's normally something that you would make into a type of gravy in a pot, but I learned to do this a long time ago, growing up poor in Norway, just throwing it all in the pot with everything else that's cooking and making it into a stew. Then, of course, you can make Béarnaise sauce from scratch if you want to, but these cheap little packets are from the store. I think it's only like $1. Next, we have some milk. That goes in. That's just, it says on the back label of the Béarnaise sauce powder, you need a cup of milk and a half a cup of butter, which I'm putting in here. And after that, guys, that's it. You're just going to let it boil. You're going to let it simmer for a long time. If you know me, I'm a big believer, and the longer it boils, the better. I would leave it there all day, but you guys can decide whatever you want to do. The longer you let it boil, the more stewy it gets. I put a little bit too much water in this, Tim, I think, so it turned into more of a soup. But still great, still the same, great taste, and again, very, very cheap. Final cheap ingredient is frozen shrimp. Now, it's very important you put these in after. The shrimp don't need very long to boil at all. That's why I left this till the end. The shrimp just need a few minutes, so you put those in. Again, this is just so amazing. It's seafood, it is salmon, it's shrimp. It tastes like you're getting it from a 4-star restaurant, like a proper traditional Norwegian stew, but very, very cheap to make. I made this whole big pot, and it's going to last me a couple days, and it probably cost less than $10 or $15 right now, and it was the same thing when I used to make it back when I lived in Norway. And the thing that I like about any of these soups and stews is, like I said, you can eat it for many days if you make a big pot like this, and it's actually even better the next day. The longer it sits there, the heartier and thicker it gets. So that's about it. That's my favorite recipe from when I was living back in Norway, but I have a ton more, you guys, that are a little bit more complicated, a little bit more bougie, but this is definitely the cheapest way to get some good quality seafood in your diet using in-season ingredients, which is great this time of year. So that's all for today. Do you guys know any similar dishes? What do you think? Does this look good? Are you going to try it yourself? Let us know down below in the comments.